What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Finally, back in the Fokker F28. I've been itching to fly this airplane since it released. We flew it for about a week straight, then we stepped away from it, and now we are finally back in the, what are we in, the 3000 today? The 3000? Someone, I think it's the 3000 on the Ansett Australia. It's going to be a good one. I'm super excited. I got my Fokker throttle set up. The massive update from JustFlight that hit, last Friday when I was just finishing up a trip. So we got a lot to talk about. We're doing one leg today. It's going to be about an hour en route or so. We're flying over to Adelaide. Am I saying that right? Probably not. I don't know how the Aussies say it, but looks like Adelaide. We're going to take off from Melbourne, where we left off, and it's going to be a good one. We got a nice crosswind right now, ripping down the runway, about 12 to 15 knots, direct crosswind if you take off on 3-3. So we might do that, but it's going to be a fun one. Romulus, good to see you. Google McTavish in the house, my friend. Good to see you. Max Rank is finally here. Made it. Good to see you, Max. Been seeing those screenshots you posted, man. Hey, Max Rank's cost me more money than probably anybody on the channel, just because he's post screenshots. He's like, oh, you need to get a 3090. Oh, you need to get the this Super Taurus F18 throttle. Oh, you need to get this collective. Man, Max. Good. Hope you're well, dude. Hope you're well. Good to see you here in the chat. Jeremy Harvey's in here. Good to see you. Mickey G is also here. David Isaac, fly with mate AJ Funari, my man. Good to see you here as well. Thrust Set is in the house. Always a pleasure. If I'd missed your name, I apologize. I'm too busy focusing on moving the drone cam over to this lovely F28. All right. So, look, we're real weather, but I've adjusted the time to be about it's like 6:30 in the morning right now. So it's a little bit of a sunrise. I didn't want to fly just complete darkness all the way there to Adelaide. So should be a good one. Happy to help your wallet. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, Max. Good to see you, though. Hey, yo, it's fucking time. Just race for sure, man. All right, we are ready to go here. We are also, this is a fun part. This is cool. Oh, you know what? All this whole time, I've had the sounds down. I was listening to, like, the birds chirping and stuff. Sorry about that. You guys didn't have any sounds in the background. But before we get going, I always like to do this before we get everything set up here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just kind of put the camera right about here, and I'm going to call the catering services, and then we're going to get the Pegasus up and running. So I'll show you. Let's go ahead and let's get some catering. I would like some shrimps for the Barbies. No idea. Regional Express. That sounds legit. Select catering operator. Sky Snacks. That sounds awesome. We're going to do Sky Snacks. AJ says, still waiting for a Great Plain Transall stream. AJ, you guys aren't going to let that one go, are you? You're not going to let that one go with the Transall. You know what? I will maybe sometime during the Australia tour here. Thank you for the $3 super chat, AJ. Thanks for stopping by. I got my pumpkin spice latte good to go. It's going to be a nice, tasty one here to keep me company and cruise. Oh, yeah, here come the Sky Snacks Flight Services Australia. Wow, they show up here. Prawns, that's right. Prawns. Frames, yeah. Oh, so Zach Hamilton, yeah, I saw the internet dropped off there for a second. I think that was just a hiccup. I've noticed it sometimes, knock on wood, the internet's been pretty stable, but every now and then I think there's like an instantaneous hiccup. It's going down, though, now, so I think everything should be fine, should smooth out. Hopefully it was just a one-off. But before we go, not fly live. I don't want that. Where is this? Here is what we need to go over real quick. So I say this every time. We fly on VAMSIS. We are in the PVA, the Piedmont Virtual Historical Group, virtual airline today, and they have historical routes for the F28 on Ansett, Australia. So it's don't have to do any thinking like, where do I fly? What's a good route? It's all loaded up for you in the VA once you join. We've already done our booking. You can see here it's got our passengers. We've already loaded up. This is our ACARS. I did start the flight. Pro tip, make sure you start flight, because if you don't, it won't record anything. Right now, we're departing from stand 22, flying the F28 3000. OFP right here. It's got your OFP handy dandy, ready to go. And then, of course, you've got the virtual map for PVA. That's a little early here on, see if any PVAers are flying out here. No, it looks like just us this afternoon here. But we are operating a real-world flight from Melbourne to Adelaide loaded up with some prawns. So love PVA, love having to interface with the sim like this. Just makes it super easy, and don't have to do any thinking about it as far as routes and stuff. It's all in there for you. So check them out. I believe the link's in the description. If not, it's all over the Discord. If not, Google it and you'll find it. It'll be a good one. So Patrick, thanks for the $5 super chat there. Saw that come along. Says, grew up in Sydney and actually had the opportunity to fly on the F28 many times, and before that, F27 Fokker Fellowship in my younger years. Patrick Washer, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that. Thanks for supporting the channel, and that's awesome, man. F27. Now, I can tell you that. I've never been on an F27, that's for sure. So I think I was on, I think I might have been on an F28 when I was little, when I was younger, but I don't recall. All right, so let's get the show on the road. I got my checklist. I got checklist out. I got my throttle set up. Oh, just so you know, we do have our throttles. I don't know how well they make out, but it is basically the replica of the F28 throttle quadrant. So we're going to try these puppies for the first time. I do have them all bound default in the simulator, which is pretty cool. I was going to use SPAD, but I found a way around it, except I might have to use SPAD now because I can't get the cutoffs to go down. I can get them to come out, but I can't get them to come down. I might just have to take a word or a play out of Romulus's playbook and just use the SPAD next for everything. Looks like the airport lights just went off. So I think that's time. That means we need to get this thing going, right? So let's go here back to the live cam, and let's get this thing fired up. Reset this camera into the cockpit. We shall go now. There we go. Beautiful cockpit. Wow, you can hear that wind is ripping out there. Geez, that wind's ripping. I tell you what, let's go ahead and turn the battery on, and let's go right into, I don't typically use ground power, but we're going to get the ground power truck fired up outside. There it is. We'll get it started. 3D printed, looks like decent print quality based on the stream. Steven, so I got this from ProDesk Sim, and I have a couple of his other add-ons. I will say this, there are, I think his Airbus ones are a little bit higher quality. This is basically just the 3D printed plastic, like the standard plastic. It's not bad quality. It's not the worst quality I've had. It's not the best. There were a couple things like for the price I wish maybe could have been reinforced with like maybe a metal piece here or there. I don't know. I'm just nitpicking because it is rather expensive, but it's not bad quality for sure. And I think I'm really going to like it. Just getting it bound and doing a test takeoff and landing, it felt really, really cool. So it's, I don't know. We'll come back to it towards the end of the stream. We'll get my final thoughts on it, but let's not drain the battery. We got the ground power on. Let's go ahead and external power is coming on. With the external power on, the emergency floodlights go out, so that means we need to get the lights on up in here. It's been so long since I've flown the F28 now. I don't remember where all my bindings are. I thought there was a flood on the overhead. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's always hidden off. That's the instrument panel, instrument overhead. Yes. Glare shield is up. Let's get the lights on in here. Not too bright though, because, well, what the hell. We'll turn that one up. Let's turn these puppies up here. In the words of XP72, yes, yes. All right, everything looks good. We'll be nice to our FO. We'll get his, we'll turn up his lights over here too. What the heck. Good day, VRef Simmer. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board. How come I don't have two knobs for over here? I just have one? Huh. All right, I think that looks pretty good right there. All right, this is an Ansett. Yes, ODG John, it is. This is an, am I saying that right? Ansett, Australia, Ansett? So, I think I'm saying that right. Still looks awesome. It's my favorite airline on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yes, it's, I gotta be honest with y'all. I've said from the beginning that, you know, the BAE 146 is probably one of my favorites. I have to, after the sound set in this airplane is so phenomenal that I think it's my favorite. Hold on, I gotta text the wife back. She's sending me pictures of we're doing a pork butt for this Sunday football season. She's at the local butcher's. Hopefully, this is gonna be an expensive pork shoulder. Hopefully, I don't screw it up. All right, good. I did say it correctly. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's run into, I'm going to just kind of run into my overhead flow, and then we're going to back it up with a checklist. I just kind of developed my own little system here. First thing I want to do is we're going to check battery 2, volts and amps. There we go. That looks good there. And I can go ahead and put this puppy on external power. And we'll go ahead and arm you. We'll threaten seatbelts, no smoking sign on. We'll leave those off for now. These are going to go into the low position. Our cruise altitude today, we filed 30. I'll tell you right now, we're not going up to 30. Let's go to 24. So I'm going to set 240 there. Now we need to hit the magic barrel ref key, get the altimeter. It is 1024. We'll reset that. 1024 on the altimeter up here, which is really kind of hard to read. So I got to scroll it this direction. There's 1025, so 24. That's close enough. 1024 is set on the overhead. Anti-ice, everything can stay off, and we'll get the APU bleed on here in a little bit once configured, but that looks good. Let's come down to our pedestal. Let's do a quick ICAS test, whatever they call this warning panel. You can do bright and dim. Ooh, I could put it in dim mode. Let's put it in dim mode for now. I'm going to hide the yoke. Hopefully we don't forget the chocks. I don't like this floodlight now that bright. Let's lower that floodlight a little bit. There we go. Let's go ahead and do a pressurization. Oh. Get some hydraulic brake pressures in the green. There we go. We'll go ahead and turn that off. System 2, we didn't need to turn that one on. I just flipped it up. We'll do a skid control. And you can test the outer. Inner. I guess you don't have to do this one here. You would just do that test right there. Coming along the pedestal here, we'll make sure this is in standby, which it is right now. That's in standby. Fuel quantity, aircraft weight 28.5, everything is reset and 0. That looks good. We can do engine fire warning. Oops, nope, didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and get you back to the off position. Do the left, do the right. Vibe check. Vibe check good. You can barely see them there in the dark. Those are working. APU fire test. Press and hold for 5 seconds. If the APU is not running. There it is. The extinguisher test has been completed. Now reset. Now if you do that with the APU running, it will shut down your APU, which is very not too good. So that looks good. And we'll do a fuel quantity test. Collector tanks. Very good. Beautiful. Everything else looks good there. We'll do an individual pump check. They should shut off both pumps with one switch. Everything looks good. Those are all black. Let's go ahead and put the nav light into position on. Even though they didn't technically run the nav lights, this was, in today's day and age, we would have the nav lights on, but we'll turn it on right now. Nav lights are on. We don't need ADF or baro, anything like that. Make sure our T-TOC switches are in takeoff. They are. We'll go ahead and close that out. And we'll leave the yaw damper off for now. COM 1. Let's go ahead and juice it up. Put you on 122.8. That is set right there. And we'll get Radio Master 1, Radio Master 2. These are all in the up and on position. Beautiful. beautiful. Hi, Can Torm. I'm not even going to try. Welcome to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board. Welcome to the stream, my friend. The 146 just got an update today. John Sleeper, it did. I'm gonna have to look it up. We'll have to look up in Cruise what JustFlight had in work for the 146. I'm curious. All right, everything else looks good there. We'll reset this warning one more time. We don't have any ATC on, so let's just go ahead and scroll in flight level 240 on our altitude window here, so we don't forget. One more. 240 is set. Everything looks wonderful. And at that point, I don't really want to listen to the APU anymore. So let's get the APU fired up. I don't want to listen to the GPU. So let's get the APU on. We're going to go main switch on. Air is off. Generator 3 is in the off reset position. So let's go ahead and start the APU. We'll come outside here. I remember seeing F28 doing test flights before delivery when I was plane spotting at Amsterdam. Shippo in my teenage years in the 80s. Good times. That's awesome, throttle hold. Test flights. That's pretty crazy. I love these little Fokkers, man. This airplane is just so awesome. No false starts. Oh, yeah, we're going to have to talk about football last night, too. Pretty wild. Jeremy says, too bad I can't make your cream cheese without the lactose pills. Hey, Jeremy. Oh, Jeremy, you just reminded me. I need to text the wife right now. Also, we need cream cheese. Done. Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, we're going big. Not Super Bowl party. NFL kickoff party on Sunday. So we're gonna have smoke out, cream cheese, all the good stuff. All right, our APU is on and running. So now that it's on and running, I'm gonna go generator 3 on. That's good, and we can go ahead and turn off the external power. Now we're on APU power. Let's get the APU bleed on, and then we'll turn on one air duct. And actually, it's hot in summertime, right? So can I get both on right now? I'll do both on. We'll shut one off for engine start. So with that done, let's go ahead and disconnect the ground power because that thing is loud. Oh. All right, now before we board, what's one thing we have to do, chat? One of the most important things in any F28 flight that you do is we need to get the boarding music on. And let's turn it up a little bit. What's this? Cabin light, entry light. How do I get the cabin lights on here? And put that in auto. That's on. Temp control. PA high, low. Well, we got the stair lights on. I don't know how to get the cabin lights on. Oh, it's winter down under? No, it's opposite. It's summer. Oh, here we go. There we go. Lights are on. Plane is ready to accept passengers. Now this ought to be interesting to see where the passengers come from. And then we got to set up the... Oh, wow, you can even see... It's kind of hard to see because it's getting bright out. But you see the entry lights and like that little exit light right there? That is a sight to see, my friends. Ask the FO to do it. Nope, we're already on board, and I'll go over the departure here pretty quick. Pretty easy when we're flying VOR to VOR in the F28. We only got a few things to set up. We got 2 nav radios, and you could set up ADF and stuff, but for this particular route, we're only going to need 2 nav radios. Should be good to go. It's summer here, almost fall. It's almost spring there. Oh, yeah. Tyson, thanks. See? Thank you. Sim is still muted? It shouldn't be muted. I can hear it. Oh my gosh. This whole time, no one has said anything about the sim being muted. You guys for real? Yeah, it's almost spring down under. Berto, good to see you, man. Welcome. Looks like our passengers are boarding. All right, let's take a quick look at our route here. I'll show you what we're doing today. We're going to go to our charts page. I've already saved them. 10-9, we're going to depart off of 3-4 with the rip and crosswind just because I want to challenge myself here off 3-4 on the SDEG 3. Now, I know this is an RNAV departure. That's an RNAV departure. Oh, I did not... see if I can find a different one actually. I didn't see that in there until just now. Are they all RNAVs? I guess you could do the Melbourne's, but the Melbourne 6. Alright, well we'll just keep this up for reference. Obviously we can't do RNAV, but we're going out to SDIG, which is going to be off the Melbourne VOR, which is 114.1. So let's go ahead and turn these suckers on. And make sure DME is selected on. We're going to go 114.1. Looks like we've got that. Now our outbound course that we need for this flight is going to be course 253. 253 out of here is what we need. All right, 253 outbound of Melbourne. And then eventually we're going to pick up this VOR in the middle of nowhere. We're taking the coastal route. Mount Gambier? which is 117.0. We'll throw that sucker in there. 117.0. The inbound course to Mount Gambier is 0. Well, the outbound is 083, but if radials go out, what is our inbound course? It's going to be 263 inbound. Inbound. Once we get there, we are nav 1 selected. We're going to do a flap 6 takeoff. Flip chart options are enabled. Our speeds are bugged. 10,000 is set. Beautiful. Let's enjoy some boarding. I'm going to turn the sim down a little bit now. That wind noise is crazy. Runar, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. In other Kansas City news, can they beat and enter Miami side without Leo Messi? Oh. Talking about soccer? I thought the GP was a bit quiet. Yeah, I'm over here, my ears are ringing from how loud the sim is, and you guys didn't even have any volume on. Alright, we're ready to go. We're ready to go now, though. Roberto! Not without Messi, although you have Busquets and Alba. Roberto, yeah, Roberto's a soccer fan, right? Or football, and man, I better be nice. Roberto is not going to be wanting to sponsor the channel anymore if we start calling it soccer. Roberto, Mr. Throttletek himself, is in the house. Good to see you. I saw that picture, man, of the 7.6 throttle getting prepped. I cannot wait, Roberto. Cannot wait. It's going to be a fun one. Oh, that toeless binding video should be coming at you. I'm going to try to finish it up today, and hopefully I can release it this weekend. It's just a simple video of showing which bindings I have, which bindings are down. But yeah, I'm just going to finish that edit up, and it should be out either tonight or this weekend. At least the Lions still beat the Kansas City referees. You know, initially, Tyson, I was like, yeah, these refs are a little bit in favor of the Chiefs, no doubt. But then I actually thought it was a relatively fair called game. I did think there was at least 2 or 3 blatant calls that were not called on the Chiefs. And then they called tripping on the Lions when the dude got absolutely pancaked in the backfield. They called that tripping. I'm like, dude, no, that was not tripping. That guy just got owned, and now you just put it on replay because he got hit so hard that his legs came up. But anyway, is there a quadrant for the F28 just like I have for the Airbus? No, Diego, there was no Throttletek quadrant for the F28 that I'm aware of, unless Roberto's working on that behind the scenes. I don't believe there is one yet. Seat 2A. Why didn't OBS read that? I don't know why I didn't read your message there, C2A. Thank you for the $3 super chat, my friend. He says that's the beautiful 70s 8mm porn groove and modeled that we all know and love. Hey, it's what happens when we're fucking C2A. Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for the $3 bank angle check. Not quite sure why that didn't go through. I'm gonna have to look into that here. I know OBS is doing some weird things lately, and my internet is not. I mean, it's okay, but it's also been seeing a couple little hiccups there. Oh, that's a shot right there. Oh, look at that other F28 out there. Roberto says 767 throttle coming up soon. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. We're going to be flying that up here now. We might have to, probably going to have to dabble back into some Flight Factor 7.6 as well. We need a BE 146 quadrant. Ooh, there you go, geographically inverted. Fubar, welcome to the stream, man. Just in time, my friend, just in time. Looks like we just finished up the boarding process. We're going to be out of here soon. Mitchell Taylor gifting 5 memberships to the channel. Mitchell Taylor, that is very kind of you. Thank you for that. I appreciate your support. If you picked up a membership from Mitchell Taylor, make sure you say thank you. That is very kind of you. All right, there's the view. Send me some pics and we could talk on VE 146. There you go. There you go. Streamlabs not like the born word. I don't know, AJ. I don't know why. Oh, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Let me see if I can replay it. I'm curious. Is it possible? It's possible that it slapped it. Oh, it looks like we're about ready to go. I need to get out of this frame hog airport too, by the way. This airport, Melbourne, while it's absolutely beautiful and I got it on the bundle pack with Orbix, you need a new PC. Yeah, it's not reading it. I guess it's maybe it's filtered it out. We'll have to see. All right, I think it's time to get out of here. Oh, I used to have a binding for this, but because we're in the 3000, I don't have bound right now, so. All right, we'll go ahead and turn off the cabin music. We'll leave the temp control in auto. They've got control. We'll go ahead and dim the cabin lights for departure. And you know what? How do I close it? I remember there's a way to do this. I think you click up here. Now we can stop listening to the APU and the wind noise. What's the Airbus A320 passenger passenger door wind limitation? 65 knots, I think. Is it 65 knots, Roberto? You remember? I think it's 65 knots for wind on the passenger door. Never had that come up, but all right, we can go ahead and doors are armed. Let's go ahead and before we release the chocks, make sure we have brake pressure. We do have brake pressure. It will bleed away from you, so let's go ahead and close these doors because I can't hear myself think anymore. That APU is ripping. Oh, so much nicer. Let's go ahead and pull the chocks. Let's come up to the overhead. Let's go one off, one on, and let's breeze through a checklist or two before we get out of here. So normal F28 checklist. I don't believe I have it saved anymore, so you guys can read along with me, or maybe I do. Let me see. Let me see. I might have it saved, so you guys can read along with me here. Courtesy of Piedmonster. PVA. Is it this one? No. Is it this one? No. Rip. Oh. Ta-da! Pro stream removed. Here we go. Maintenance status check. Surface chocks are checked. Removed now. Battery is checked on. Gear lever is down. Electric hydraulic pumps are off. Radar is in standby. APU fire extinguisher warning has been checked. APU starting on. Checked. Oh, I got my paper one over here that's blowing around. APU is start on buses. Checked. Flap lever position is up. Checked. Raster radio switches are on. We did our pre-flight inspection. Emergency equipment, circuit breakers, rain repellent checked. Before start originating flights. Interior, exterior pre-flight checklist is complete. Oxygen interphone checked 100%. Emergency lights are armed, indeed. Emergency lights are armed. Air conditioning, one off, one on. Pressurization set, windshield heat low. No smoking, seatbelt on, voice recorder check, engine fire warning check, jip whiz check. Instruments sync and cross check. Parking brake is set, anti-skid is checked. We checked that. Fuel. And that's probably a good one to double check. Alright, fuel is checked. There it is over here. Fuel quantity, yes, checked. I want to make sure we have fuel. Hydraulics are checked. Radios, radar, transponder are in standby. Speed brakes are in. Lift dumpers in. TTC switches are takeoff. Radar, aileron trim check. Autopilot disengaged. ACARS not apply. Fire recorder not apply. Gear pins removed. Papers on board. Thrust index is set. Cleared for start. And we're basically ready to go over here. So I'm going to keep you on there. I'm going to put you on Gen 1 actually, like so. We're going to go ahead and get our beacons, both top and bottom, on. And let's do pushback and departure, because we're actually going to try to push back here. We want to go nose left, tail right. Should I really learn this and fly it over the CRJ Schmacken 710? Yes, you will absolutely love this airplane over the CRJ. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
I don't always shamelessly plug, but when I do, I shamelessly plug PVA and VAAL. And I agree, man, agreed. Spencer Gang, welcome. We're all set up here. We'll make a left turn off runway, what was that, 33? Crosswind takeoff. We'll take the longer runway.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Yeah, we'll go off runway 34. So runway heading off 34 is 340. Right about there. 340 is set. Course line is set. We are good to go.
Locking gear.
You think GSX should have passenger sounds? And then I think it would conflict with other add-ons that have passenger sounds. Oh, excuse me. Still recovering. Nose left, tail right.
Release parking brakes, please.
Brakes are released, clear to push.
Commencing push. All engines cleared. Start at will.
We'll push back. We'll start after start so we can enjoy the sounds. Speaking of recovering though, man, that Fiesta, remember that Fiesta slide we talked about in the last stream for Labor Day? So we just thought it would be a good idea to have a challenge. See who could run up the water slide. And yeah, man, I activated some ab muscles that I didn't know existed. I don't know if I have a hernia or if I'm just still sore. It's been a rough couple days. Steam gauges are the best. Makes the cockpit look extra cool and busy. I agree. I love steam gauge stuff. For some reason, in the sim world, I love round gauge aircraft. And I really do not like glass cockpits in the sim, especially like a G1000 or I even have like the GTN 750. I have the, what is it, the TDXS GI GTN thing. I mean, it's cool and all, but at the end of the day, I still much prefer round gauges in the sim. I just started learning the CRJ. It's pretty fun. Starfield got in the way though. Hey, if you like regional hopping, I mean the CRJ is nice. I mean it's a light aircraft. It's Aerosoft. It's just a light simulation with a default flight model. If you really want to challenge yourself, you will be blown away by the F28. I guarantee you. Guarantee you'll be blown away. I still prefer airliners with working VNAV. Ooh, that didn't sound good. I think we just oof. Oof, what is that?
Please set parking brakes.
Cockpit to ground.
Brakes are set.
Good engine start. You can disconnect.
All right, let's go ahead and start them up, shall we? Let's get our tiller cam online. Let's go up to the overhead. Thrustmaster is on. We are one on, one off for engine start. We're going to go ahead and start number 2 first. Start of valve open. You can see the pack automatically shuts off. Low idle.
Unlocking gear.
For start. Then we're looking for 40.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
VNAV, never heard of her.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Not in this puppy. Look at the Melbourne Airport bus. Yeah, see, I can hear passengers talking in the background in this Just Flight sound pack. I can definitely hear them in the background. Albeit quiet, they're there. All right, number 1, here we go. Start of valve open. Oh, that sound set. Val, hello, welcome. We're gonna guess on this one. I have to remember. I don't remember my starter. I know it was like 40% or... I can't remember what the actual starting limitation was. VNAV is for 200-hour pilots. Shots fired. Nothing like flying old RNAV planes with steam gauges, both prop and jet. Only Denver flying get fun. Yeah, that makes it a lot of fun, man. We got an Air France. Wow, it sounds like we got 2 good starts on the overhead. Yes, we do. 2 good starts. We'll go, that's going to come off. And we'll turn off the APU air. We'll see a drop in the pressure, which is normal. With that there, we'll go ahead and turn off. Oh no, we'll reset you. Oh, I shut it off incorrectly. Dang it, I'm supposed to do the stop with the overspeed. I just shut it down incorrectly. Don't do that. So you leave the main on and then you do the stop switch first. It'll overspeed and then shut down. I did that incorrectly. Anyway, hopefully I don't think anything is damaged. Let's do a quick check here. DC bus 1, DC bus 2 is all good. Gen 1, I'm going to just go around the circle here, make sure we're on the green. Gen 3 is not powered anymore with everything else in the green. Beautiful. We go ahead and get both APUs, or both bleeds are on. Everything up there looks good. Let's get our windshield heat, pitot and vane heating on. We are low on the window, left-hand priority. Anti-ice is not required. And we are going to go flap 6. Just kind of lame. Flaps 11 is way more juice, but let's do flap 6 because of crosswind. Oh, there we go. Flap 6. I do like, so the flap lever has a spring and the detents. You don't lift it up, but you actually have to intentionally move it from detent to detent, which is pretty cool. All right, we're going to taxi out to runway 34 via left turn on Alpha here. Take us all the way to 34. With that out of the way, let's go over to the aircraft and let's go ahead and make sure we are 19.9. If you click on that, it will automatically set it, which it is. Our V speeds are bugged. Let me just double check. We are flap 6, 137, 145. Beautiful. Flap retraction 149. If we lose an engine, 159, 160 basically. Straight out. With all that done, let's go yaw damper in and gust lock off. You want a checklist here? I'm just going to do it on my paper checklist. You don't have to follow along with me here. Oh, you can probably see me read it actually. Where are we at? After start, warning and door electrical, APU air, starter master is off, air conditioning both on, anti-ice auto on, pitot heat is on, high pressure fuel valves are open, flight control lights are out, taxi takeoff, yaw damper in, flight control check, flaps 6 and indicating, stabilizer trim is set, lift dumpers. Don't want to forget those. Oh, and I started without fuel pumps. Gravity feed. That's all good. Lift dumpers are armed, collector tanks are black. Control cabin door is locked, well, shoulder harness and all that good stuff. So we'll close you. We are closed up, ready to go. APU on or off, flight advisory, transponder, we should do that. Transponder on 2000, set 122.8. Melbourne traffic and set to 91, going to be taxi on runway 34 for departure, Melbourne. All right, taxi light. V-pilot needs to be on. According to the JustFlight forums, the UNS-1 will go into testing next week. Gasp. I cannot wait. Brakes released. Out here, Yankee. Let's get a little powered up. Love it. All right, we need to go.
Melbourne traffic 222 non-tails rolling runway 27 Melbourne.
Melbourne. I love it. I love the Aussie accent, man. All right. So they also in this latest update, the entire nose wheel steering has been revamped to better handle a tiller, and I got to tell you, it is wonderful. One of the best airplanes to taxi on the ground. Look at, and as you see that breakaway thrust, look, I haven't touched the thrust at all yet. We're rolling. We are relatively light, and we're in the 3,000, right? So the do I have my variance right? So if the 3,000, I think, has a shorter body, but it has a bigger wing, so it's more of the best, it's a better performing one, if I'm not mistaken. Now this scenery has some interesting little bumps in it here. That's why you see us bobbling up and down here. The Aussies are the best. They're like if Brits were cool. Another shot's fired. Alright, we are looking good. Yeah, Dougal's a Brit. Dougal's in chat. Yeah, be careful there. Dougal will show up in the middle of the night. That sounds wrong. But Dougal knew where I was going with that one, but I'm just going to leave it there. Let's continue on. Is that the honeycomb quadrant? Yes, it is. This is the honeycomb with the Pro Desk Sim mods for the F28. And this is going to be my first full flight with them, which I'm excited for. Now, one thing I think I've noticed is the speed brake illuminate here. Yeah. Is it like not? There we go. So it's almost like I need to...
219, airborne, runway 27, approximately 3 miles to the east, passing 4,000 for flight level 260. Part of the area, time 14, the last call, Melbourne.
See ya. Alright, so real quick, before we go, I wanted to highlight something that's very important that's been included in the update. If you enable on your settings panel here, because while it doesn't have a true like FADEC or auto throttle system, we have a throttle detent system on the F28. And it's in SimWorld, it's kind of hard to know when you're in that detent unless you're looking at your throttles while you set them. But if you enable this new version here, the throttle detent light, if you turn that on, when your throttles are in the proper position, the nav failure light will illuminate right here. When this illuminates, that means your throttles are set in the takeoff position, and you don't really need to move them until you're coming back to cruise power, and or if you're overspeeding the climb or leveling off, what have you. But that was kind of a hard thing to tell when you were initially flying, because you can see this animation is animated now for the detent, and it's only the left throttle that has the detent, just like the real airplane. But before the update, you were kind of hit or miss. Am I in the detent or am I not? But now it's self-explanatory. That light comes on, stop moving the throttles, you're in the detent, and you're good to go. So that is set. Everything else is good. I'm going to put my flight director about 15 degrees up. Heading mode. Let's make a radio call and get out of here. Melbourne traffic and set 91. It'll be departing runway 34 to the west. Melbourne traffic. Let's get them all on. And boom. Boom. Yeah, so the frames, Jefferson, it's not my sim. Unfortunately, I'm seeing some internet frame drop, which is really unfortunate because it's not even the sim that's stuttering. It's my internet, which I can't do anything about. It's only at 3% drop.
Melbourne traffic and set 1175 is going to line up runway 34, Melbourne.
Hopefully it'll smooth out here in a little bit. It seems to be hit or miss. We've been pretty lucky as far as internet goes for a while. Of course, the stream that I want to do the most with the Fokker, it's acting up. Time to sue an ISP. I wish, man. I wish. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I love the nose wheel handling that they tweaked for the tiller especially is beautiful. All right, Melbourne traffic and set 91 departing runway 34 out to the west. Melbourne. Here we go. Are you all ready? Smash down that like button. Yoga's in chat. Little forward pressure here. Let's spool them up, Fitty. Oh, yeah. And here you'll see what I'm talking about with the power set light.
Power set.
There we go. Lights on. Power set. Do you see how that light came on? Alright, so we've got a nice crosswind from the left. It's actually cabin secure. We should have done that earlier.
Rotate.
Positive rate, gear up. Fly with, watch your ears. It's going to be real loud.
Northern traffic at 1175, taking off runway 34, west departure, over.
Front power is set. Let's go ahead and make a left turn out. Melbourne traffic, Ansett 91, departing out to the west out of 3000, last call Melbourne. We're going to set up an intercept heading here.
Velocity 211, lining up and waiting.
Continue to lower that nose, we accelerate out. Oh yeah. I love this airplane so much. All right, lower that nose down about 5 degrees until we get 250k knots. I'm going to go ahead and bug my 250 knot bug as well here. We're going to rip this sucker up right about there. I'm going to hand fly for a little bit. I mean, but she hand flies great. You get it trimmed out. Love it. About a 210 here on the heading for intercept. It might be a little steep. We're only about 4 miles. Let's do about 220. All right, there is 250 knots with that set. We're on a heading. Autopilot is on. It's going to go roll pitch. I want IAS. And I want heading. Cabin crew's been released. Gonna try to maintain that 250. Help it out a little bit with the speed bug. All right, torques and temps, everything looks good. Is this real life? Microsoft looking good today. Sorry about that. I think if I could add one thing to the next update, albeit a small update, it would be an option in the EFB to have an external volume. Oops, I flew right through my VOR. Let's do it in heading mode now.
Velocity 211, taking off.
It would be an option in the EFB to adjust the external sounds instead of the, you know, so because when you go outside, it's very loud. And I want to be clear, I don't want them to lower the external sounds because I love them. I think they're some of the best in the set.
Over Oak Canal, waypoint,
but just an option in the EFB to maybe like set an individual decibel level for the exterior. I don't know if that's how possible that is. I know fly-by-wire does it. Take it easy, Danish. All right, there comes our low course, so we'll go beam mode. We'll go ahead and put this into VOR loc, and our pitch command, we'll sync it up right about there. I don't know if I love that view there, trying to get both. All right, everything looks good. We're 250 knots, we're out of 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our landing lights off. Those off, we'll retract all of those. External lights retracted. Turn the ice lights, leave these 4 will stay on. Also, that the last update, they fixed that logo light. So that logo light automatically extinguishes now when the gear is up or when the weight off wheels. Beautiful. Microsoft does appear to have moods where it seems to look better some days than others. Yeah, I agree, Scott. I think it's a combination of the lighting that you're flying in and the scenery that you're flying in and the weather too, you know. But yeah, the weather today this looks awesome. I mean, that looks like a commercial. All right, so let's keep monitoring here. We don't want to hang out just yet. We got some other things to accomplish. Looking at my checklist after takeoff, no smoking. Let's go ahead and turn that off. No smoking will come off. Landing gear is up. Flaps are up. Air conditioning and pressure. We are pressurizing, and the air conditioner is doing air conditioning things. We don't have the anti-ice. It's off, looking good. Lift dumpers are in. TTCs are in climb. That leaves us at the descent approach checklist in due time. So everything looks good here.
Moving traffic. Velocity 11.
Wingnut, just tuning in. There's no sound like bypass, old school, or like no bypass. Yeah. And I feel like these guys have nailed it. JustFlight has absolutely nailed this engine sound. Little to no bypass on this puppy. I mean, is there, I guess, technically there'd be a little bypass in there. Oh, wow, look at that. I feel like I'm actually in the wake of the engine. That's awesome. I love this airplane. I like this front end here with this little black nose cone and these eyebrow windows. Awesome, awesome plane. 17.3 for 240. We're looking good. We've done our checks. Radar can stay on standby. We don't need it. All our pitch controls are in. And we can probably start turning off these background lights too that we had illuminated. I might just keep these on and make it a little bit easier to read those instruments, but we'll turn all those off. And we'll go ahead and turn off the overhead lights. Prepare for some daytime flying. Do I need the glare shield lights? I don't think so. Let's see. It's still a wee bit dark. Let's go ahead and glare shield all the way up still. There's 18,000 set standard. 2992.
Melbourne traffic 2219 taxiing via Papa.
2992 is set. I don't think it's synced, is it? Well. Of course, Wingnut joins the stream and we get meowing on guard. What are the chances? Have I flown this plane in real life? No. No. Would you ever fly the GPS version? No, not with this default GPS, but I believe JustFlight said when the UNS-1 releases their custom UNS-1, they're going to put it in the B146, and I think they said they're also going to put it in this puppy, which would be period correct because I believe there were UNS-1s in the Fokker. Yeah, there was, gosh, I'm trying to think of that airline that had them. So that'll be cool. I'll definitely fly with the UNS-1. I think it'll appeal to many more flight sim fans, but even without it, I just absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. About 4,000 feet to level off. We're 30 miles out. We got a changeover point here coming up. Which is... so SDIG is 52 miles. So at 52 miles we'll be at SDIG and then we'll continue on. Alright, cool. Alright, let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy some of the sunrise here. Chemtrails. Hello, Captain. What is the big change with the airplane? Rotate. We'll go over the changelog here in a little bit. I've kind of highlighted some major ones for me on the ground, such as the indicator that your thrust is in the detent, which is this light up here. The ground handling, there's a couple of other fixes on the ground for like the cabin crew announcements and their auto call and all that. As soon as we level off and cruise, we'll run through some of the highlights. Oh, one of the biggest ones too, which I'm so happy they have bound, is the gear warning. So if you bring the power to idle in the flight, you're not in landing configuration, you're going to get the gear horn, or basically the gear not down. But now you can inhibit that with the landing gear horn cutout switch, which is right here. But I've bound that to my throttle, so now you can mute that appropriately. So that's a huge one for me. Wingneck said, interesting, there are Rolls-Royce Space low bypass turbofans. I assume they were turbojets, same as the RAF Phantoms. No, so Wingneck, I originally thought they were straight turbojets too. Someone corrected me. They're like, no, actually, they are got some bypass air. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they do. So yeah, it's not much. Definitely not like your whale shark that you fly around. Which is like, what's the bypass on that thing? Like 90% of the engine. All right, we're leveling 240. We'll let her accelerate. And then this is where you're going to take your throttle out of the detent. So don't be confused just because you get it to illuminate and you're in the detent. You're like, oh, my power is set for the whole flight. No, it's not an auto throttle. You still have to manipulate the power at appropriate times. I can't seem to get the knack of VOR navigation. John, well, there are a couple tutorials out there. I've done a few tutorials. I did one tutorial flight, which I think you should. It's an old one in the 737-200 on X-Plane 11. I'd recommend watching that one. I did a live stream on it, which it's always hard to try to do a tutorial of that complexity on a live stream. But there are tons of YouTube videos out there about VOR navigation. See if it can't get into some of that and help clear it out for you. If you had the chance, would you fly it in real life? Could I just fly it for a day? Would I want to fly this on a day-by-day basis working? No. I'm too spoiled now with the Airbus. But if they said, hey, we need to do a contract temporary duty assignment for 1 month on an F28, you want to do it? Hell yeah, sign me up. All right, as we approach about 7.0 Mach, I'm going to bring the power back a tad here. We'll set about 88%. We'll see what that leaves us with. Now, they said that also in the changelog, the whine decreases with altitude. I definitely can see that. Has decreased a little bit. We could probably go up to 30. I think we filed 30. All right, 51 miles. Let me double check my map here. I'm using SkyVector again. All right, so probably if I get rid of SDIG, so MTG, total airway distance is 193 miles. So I'll tell you what, let's go up. I know I said we'll stop at 24, but let's do a change. Let's go ahead and set our, how would you do this? I think we're going to set this to 28. We'll go up to 280. We're going to set 280 here in the window. And now I'm going to try an IAS hold. Let's see what happens. It should start to, well, that's going to pitch down. Don't do that. There we go. We'll go back to about 250. Let's go ahead and bring our power up. Get back into that detent. There's our climb power detent. Yes, hold, and she's climbing. We're going up to 28. Up we go. For the crews, the Pratt & Whitney on the adopted bus have a bypass ratio of 12 to 1. That's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, about 1,000 feet per minute. We're climbing up. I had this in altitude. I'll turn that off. Pitch indicator right about there. Oh, oops. Wrong way. There we go. About 1,000 feet per minute. Gross weight is 28.5. Hopefully we can get up there. I should have double checked. So that's in kilos. So we're 60,000. I think we're looking all right. We'll save some fuel too. All right, it looks like we've actually picked up. You can see my nav 2 that we've tuned in on the ground, 17.0, is already being picked up. What we can do now is just do a switch over. We're almost halfway. You could go a little bit longer, but instead of going till we run out, I'm just going to go heading mode. I'm going to switch this to 17.0, and then I'm going to go back to a direct 2 course. So we're going to center the needle, and we're going to just fly direct 2. Easy, Tiger. Right about there. beam mode is on. I'll probably start a nice slight right turn here to continue to track to the next VOR. Even the small 732 JT8's had small bypass. Yep. Rolls space of the F28 have a bypass of 1-to-1. So the Adoptobus is 11 times more bypass. Crazy. At engine start, you forgot the fuel pumps, but how would a T-tail draw fuel if the pumps failed? Gravity feed surely won't be a thing in these engines higher than the tanks. So, Dale, that is a great question. You are theoretically correct. So, gravity feed may not be the proper term, but it will still feed because as the engines turn, they're going to start an engine-driven fuel pump. So even if the electrical pumps failed, the pure indication of the engines rotating, their pumps mechanically turn, thus ingesting fuel. Now, if you had no mechanical fuel pumps, or no engine, I should say, no engine-driven fuel pumps, and no electrical fuel pumps, you could theoretically introduce a flame out, especially at higher altitudes. And I think it would depend on your depend on how much fuel you actually have in the tanks. Because if you have full tanks, you're still going to displace some fuel enough to be sucked up into the engine. But yeah, it is. I mean, it is a decent bit higher. But I mean, if you have, I mean, think about it. If this wing was full of fuel, and you have an opening to over here, it's going to go to the path of least resistance anyway. So yeah, I mean, now the interesting test would be, can we, if we were to shut off both fuel pumps up here in cruise, would they go off? And remember, so those are booster pumps. Those are the electrical booster pumps that we turned on. Crossfeed drill, crossfeed on, tank and use pumps on, tank not and use pumps off. So it looks like it's still... Oh, and collector tank too, right? Isn't the collector tank in the... someone with a fuel diagram on the F28? Surely there's a fuel diagram. I'm going to look it up. I wonder if the collector tanks are in the engine or near the engines. I wonder if you could sustain enough fuel flow with motive flow. Well, that's how some of the Airbus fuel tank pumps are. We have motive flow pumps. But I mean, that's different. You know, you also have gravity feed, which is very easy on that because the engines are below the wing. But there's a variant that has motive flow jet pumps. All right, leveling 280. Now we'll go ahead and bring the power back. Get our fuel flows down a little bit. All right, level 280. I'm going to put you back on, see how far we were. We're 90 miles from. So we're not picking up DME 2 yet, 91.4 on the DME. So that's not 359 ground speed. Tracking 2. All right, we're looking good. Let's go ahead and let them roam. We'll turn the seatbelt sign off. Cruise checks are complete. We are pressurized. We'll release the cabin crew. Now my question is, how do you, I guess these stay illuminated? Or is that going to be on this light switch right here? Aha, it's this one right here. So let me turn you back up. Find a little, about 90%. Dennis, good evening. Welcome to the stream, man. All right, we're looking good. 100 miles out. We're settling in for cruise. We're basically going to fly to the ocean and then hang a right. But as we level off here, let's get into some of the changelog and see if we can go over some stuff. I'll feel much more confident when we get DME on number 1. Technically, like I said, the airway is 193 miles long, so if we're 100 miles, we're just past halfway. Hopefully we'll start picking up DME 2. As long as we got signal and we're nav 1, 17-0, we're looking good. Excellent. Alright, we're going to set on back here in the deafening, not deafening so much at cruise, but MD-80, this seat, set up before, awful. Shame hardly anyone uses P3D anymore. The FS Labs Concorde is one of the best add-ons I've ever used in any sim. Heavy metal, really? I never used the FS Labs Concorde, but I've used their FS Labs Airbus, and if it's anything like the Airbus was, I bet it is quite impressive. I bet it is. Whoop. Let's go ahead and turn you down. Let's come over here. Let's go here. I'm going to pull up the change log. Nope. Alright, settling in. I'm going to have to turn this sim like almost off. There we go. BAU 146 is so much fun as well without an FMC. Yeah, I love it. Oh, the Concorde was just released a month ago? Nice. That's probably why I never flew it. The problem with P3 is the platform. You know, unfortunately, if they would have just focused all their time and energy instead of being in P3D, if they focused on bringing something to Microsoft, I think they would have done well, a lot better off financially. But I just think P3D as a platform is done. Oh, they have the old Concorde X. Okay, yeah. I mostly used FS Labs in FSX, and then I used the Airbus only in P3D. All right, let's look at some of this changelog. This stuff is crazy. So I'm not going to go over the whole first section, but the flight control system has been completely reworked to have pretty deep simulation. So first mode, second mode, and third mode of all flying surfaces, that basically has to do with your hydraulics and how the flight controls are being powered or being moved. Alternate controls for the flaps and stabilizers, which operate the correct speed with an accurate electrical power drain. So if you're just on an emergency electrical power or moving the flaps, you're draining power. That's crazy. Realistic simulation of hydraulic accumulators. I've talked to you about this one before. Certain flying controls can only be operated once before hydraulic accumulator pressure is drained. For example, speed brakes can only be extended or retracted once on accumulator pressure. So if you're on accumulator pressure only, you better not want to use those speed brakes multiple times. Does the new version have an overspeed alarm? They've tweaked it, full flyer. They've tweaked it so that the... Yep, there it is. We're overspeeding. Coming back. But before it used to sound prior to VNE. I'm going to bring it back. Come on. Come on. It's coming back. The old crunchy danger sounds, yeah. Now, there we go. That seems better. So we're 125. I got DME from still over here. Make sure, yeah, DME is on, nav 1, 17-0. We're looking good. 125. Maybe by about like 150, hopefully we'll have DME. Or there may not even be DME from that VOR. We'll have to find out here. Beeping was matching the beat. Yeah, so all the flight controls are pretty much fully simulated to pretty deep levels now. Improved lift dumper operation, including improved deployment and retraction logic and increased drag when deployed. So once deployed, lift dumpers can now only be retracted if disarmed or throttles advanced beyond 75%. Very cool. The lift dumper lever can now also be controlled using default MSFS thrust control assignments, throttle cut, throttle decrease. Once deployed, lift numbers can now only be retracted if disarmed or throttles after 75. Huh. Improved deployment and retraction logic. There you go. So now you can use the lift compass. Improved speed brake below back feature for more effective speed brake behavior above 190 knots. Completely reworked the landing gear and nose wheel steering. We talked about that. Features include improvement to alternate gear extension logic. Brakes now work. Limited time on hydraulic accumulator pressure after a hydraulic system failure. Nose wheel steering system recoded from the ground up for a much improved nose wheel steering behavior using tiller, which I told you from we taxiing out there in Melbourne is just way, way better. This one's huge. This one is one of the biggest ones. Added toggle GPWS control assignment to the undercarriage horn silencer button. So if you bring the power to idle, you're on a descent, and you get that beep, 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 you can now silence that with binding, and you bind the GPWS toggle there. So if you bind that, you're good to go. Kyle, what's up, man? Good to see you. And I'm skipping a bunch of these too. I'm just going over some of the big ones. The auto jetway EFB, I just keep that off because I manually deploy my doors. The takeoff thrust light option, that one's huge. We talked about it. You now have a clear-cut way of telling that your thrust levers are in the proper detent position. EFB options, EFB. Added landing gear door with winch controls to close the landing gear doors off their landing gear extension. That's pretty cool. We might have to try to do some type of failure with this thing at some point, at one day, like try to do something crazy in the F28 and then, I mean, it's simulated. I think 90% there. I don't want to get too slow. All right, we're tracking along. Let me double check my airway here. When's our next turn? After we hit Mount Gambier, we are going to be turning north towards the Adelaide VOR, which is 16.4. We're going to leave it for now, but everything is fine. 16.4. Keep an eye on that. Does this plane have a Q or H for the failures? So it doesn't have failures yet, but there is in the documentation, you have stuff to handle like your basic failures. It talks about like fuels and everything. Now I think failures are going to be coming because in the 146 they have a whole section here where you can like trigger failures. And I think, I have to double check the latest roadmap. I'm not sure, don't quote me, but I thought they said they will add failures at a later date. Right now, they're just focused on a couple other things. First off, getting, the quality of life improvements, EFB stuff, and a couple of these extra bindings, getting that all squared away. And I think once they got all that done and the UNS-1 availability, they'll probably start then doing other stuff. But who knows? Shaq Oatmeal, good to see you, man. Check ride scheduled for October 11th. Shaq Oatmeal. Check ride on October 11th. Well, I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to put that date down. Put a note in her right now, Shax. October 11th. So October 10th, we're gonna have a little pep talk. That's awesome, man. Shaq, you're gonna crush it, man. You are gonna crush it, dude. Best of luck. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I got a notification on my phone now. I'm going to hit you up. My eye twitches when I hear EFB. Let's see. Make sure I'm not missing. Let's go. I mean, this changelog is insane. Various logic to the digital fuel flow display. Ramp weight displayed on the digital fuel weight can now be adjusted by set weight knob, which I did not do. The ramp weight will automatically be set to match the aircraft weight when loading into the aircraft and can be manually adjusted. If a significant change is made to the aircraft weight EFB, then the ramp weight will automatically resync to the new weight. Okay, cool. Pressing ramp or cons button will now hold respective information on the top display until the other button is pressed. Test 1 and Test 2 are now more accurately. Let me come in here. Let's take a look. Again? It's because we're at a higher altitude, higher Mach. All right. Settle down. Oh yeah, cons, ramp. This is in kilos. I wish I could make it in pounds. Fuel flow per gallon. All right. So I see what you can do. You can adjust the weight here. I'm not going to do it in flight. That's pretty neat. Okay. I mean, this cockpit though. Look at this cockpit, y'all. Look at these gauges. I mean, just awesome. Just absolutely awesome. Let me get my thrust lever synced up here a little bit. There we go. $163 miles from. So I guess we don't have DME on this next VOR. That's fine. How come we don't have DME on a VOR? We'll keep going. We know it's about 192 miles though. Then we're gonna make a return. We still got the 2 flag. Everything is normal. DME is on. All right. At least we're going the right direction. Look at it. Would you just look at it? If you want to have a stable cruise speed, try to keep fuel flow between 9.0 and 9.9. In general, it's on 0. In general, it's on 0.95. Stable cruise speed. Keep fuel flow between 9.0 and 9.9. All right. Well, there's fuel flow. Is that in pounds or in kilos? I think 9.0 will be a little bit too much. Oh, actually, no. Let's give it a shot. What is that? Let's set 9.5 here on the fuel flow. Let's see how that does. So we're not oscillating up and down. I've experienced this too flying for PVA. Some of the Australian VORs give bearing info and not range. Interesting. Napalm 42. Well, hey, at least we got the most important thing. We got the bearing too, so. All right, 0.95. That's about as close as I can get it. 95, 97. We'll let that stabilize. We'll see what that gives us here for speed. We're 173 miles from Melbourne at 200. What was it? At 193 miles, we should go over the top of this VOR, and we need to track 317 outbound up towards Adelaide. All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Let me go through the rest of this, make sure I'm not missing anything. I mean, this is crazy. More features and improvements and fixes. F28 Mark 1000, couple of liveries. Mark 4000, a livery. Completely reworked the model and texture of the cabin crew panels in the forward galley. With auto cabin crew, here we go, enabled on the EFB. Random cabin and toilet calls from passengers will be triggered and later canceled by the crew automatically through the climb, cruise, and some phase of flight whenever the seatbelt signs are switched off. These calls are indicated by the illumination of the associated lights on the forward galley steward panel, as well as audible chimes. Cabin calls can also be displayed by pulling any of the reading light circuit breakers on the lower cabin crew panel, and toilet calls by disabling it. What the heck? Do I have auto cabin crew on? I do. That's pretty cool. Everything is off. There's a stew call right there. That's crazy. James Johnson, the 6th was your birthday? Well, happy belated birthday. Happy belated birthday, James. I've just read that one for the first time. Keeps good. Autopilot IS. Yeah, okay. So engagement of the autopilot modes, much smoother now. Much smoother. All right, looks like we're going over the top of the VOR. We got to set 313, so I'm going to select heading. We're going to come right, and we're going to stay on 17.0. We're going to select a new course now of 313. Let me verify that's the right course line. In the turn. Oh, yeah, take a look at that wing view. Sky Vector says from Mount Gambier 317. Nope. 316. 316 is our course outbound. So we'll set 316. We got to get out past the VOR here. There's the coast. At least we went the right direction. We know where we are. Tracking outbound 316. Callie Simmer with a 15-month membership milestone chat. Callie Simmer, appreciate the love for 15 months. Thank you. Says, hey, V1, hope all is well. I won't mention the latest because you really think there's a cloud over me? Oh, no. Happy to see you stream. Callie Simmer, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you on board as always. Uh-oh. Hope all is well over in your neck of the woods, Callie Simmer. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But always a pleasure to have you on board. Welcome to the stream. Looks like we just hit about halfway point in the lovely F28. Love this bird. All right. So this is interesting. 316 outbound. All right, so we're going the right way. Look at the light reflection off the instruments, though. That's so cool. 316, let's set up a little better intercept on the heading. Let's come back to about 285-ish. Oh. Wait for approach flaps. Love it. The Australian government stuffed us over. They basically said that because most of the Big Ten is on GNSS VOR, too much money, so they got rid of most of them. Really? Wow. I fly in the Adelaide area doing my commercial license and can do more radio nav off ADF tuned into local radio stations. Geographically inverted. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. All right, looks like we're just about to intercept that course line, then we'll go into beam mode. I remember tuning into the local radios, flying freight. Beam mode is on. We are locked up here. We'll go out to hold on as well. So we're locked up green on green. We're tracking outbound 316 on our way up to Adelaide. I used to tune the Beach 99 and into a local sports radio station in the morning. They talk about fishing. Yeah, good stuff. All right, let's come back here. But yeah, autopilot stuff, it's all been tweaked, fixes with that. Top and bottom beacon lights can be controlled individually now. That's pretty cool. ADF tuning has been tweaked so they don't have that 0.4 kilohertz interval issue. Logo lights automatically switch off when the aircraft is airborne, and the flaps are up. Cool. So if flaps extended, it looks like the logo lights will come on. We'll have to check it. Utility system hydraulic pump logic improved. Flight control system logic improved. Low tank pressure caution lights overly sensitive and should not illuminate during normal operation. Fixed. Minor livery bugs fixed. JipWiz glide slope warning logic improved at lower altitudes. Glide slope will no longer play when the aircraft is below 300 feet. AGL, good deal. Glide slope indications reversed when capturing ILS VHF2 nav radio. Okay, I want to know who found this one out. Listen to this bug fix. You know, some poor guy was IMC. Maybe it was wrong side sim, flying from the right seat, trying to be all hardcore. Intercepts an ILS on nav 2. However, the problem was on nav 2, the glide slope indications were reversed. So if he was going down on the glide slope, he was actually climbing, or vice versa. That's a pretty severe bug. I wonder who found that one. That's pretty funny. Landing light, LVAR permanently on, causing complications when using F28 with virtual airlines. Fixed. Fuel low pressure light logic improved. Fuel flow logic in the center tank, briefly with pressure builds. Outside air temperature gauge scale and accuracies fixed. Jesus. Flight director and heading bug visibility at night improved. Flap gauge animation range increased to improve accuracy when the gauge is not supplied with electrical power. It's crazy. I mean, this changed a lot. I'm just going to skip through most of these here. Improved JipWiz during flaps 25 approaches. That's good. They fixed that. Added support for aileron left to fix keyboard users. We're not able to roll the aircraft. Man, if you're flying on the keyboard, Godspeed. Aircraft warnings better optimized for headset simulation. Basically cleaned up the sound. Same with the call outs. That's for 1,000, 2,000. Updated 8K texture set. I don't have that on right now, I don't believe. Course bar active call-out triggers adjusted. Only trigger when the course bar is moving across the HSI. Dome storm lights fixed. Various menu thumbnails up there. I mean, yeah, it's a loaded update. But my biggest takeaway from the latest update is the knowing where, when you're in the detent, nose wheel steering fixes and autopilot tuning fixes. And then probably my favorite is being able to mute the gear warning horn now, which is really cool. Because that could really be a problem. Not a problem, but it just gets annoying, and you get conditioned to ignoring the gear horn, which is something you don't want to do at all. So, all right, one last thing here. I'm going to set up my inbound Adelaide VOR, geographically inverted. You should know it from memory. What is it? Adelaide is 116.4. Let's throw you in here. 116.4 on nav 2. Let's see if we can pick it up yet. Oh, we are, and we got DME. So I tell you what, we're going to stick heading mode in right here. We're going to just go straight direct to Adelaide VOR right now, 16.4. And let's go ahead and put a direct to course, which is right about there. Beam mode active. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was a little twitchy there. Alright, I think she's going to stable out. We're good. Check them out. You should try flying in VR. It's a whole new animal on your Christmas list. Man, Shaq. Imagine, Shaq, here's the deal though. Shaq, if you get a Oculus Rift or whatever the VR headset is, you have to promise to keep the face cam up while you're in VR. Because everyone, I mean, that's going to be a meme generator, man. You gotta have it on face cam, but just be in VR. That'd be awesome. Geographic says 1097, 222 course, ILS 23. Geographically inverted, thanks. Perfect. I take it you've flown there before. All right, looks like we're correcting for that crosswind. 151 miles out, looking good. We're on track, 280. Let's do a quick mental math assessment. Let's look at our charts here. Airport info, field elevation for 22 or 23 over here, or 222 for 2. It's what, 20 feet? So yeah, it's basically sea level. So 28,000 feet. And we want to be at 10,000 feet. That's 18,000 feet. 30 miles out. So simple math, we'll just do 18 times 3. That's going to be 54 miles. Plus 10 miles, 64 miles out. Plus 10 miles because I'm not a professional pilot. So 74 miles. I don't like off numbers. So let's call it 75 miles out. We will start down. And hopefully we'll be about 10,000 feet, 30 miles out. So 75 miles are TOD. Looks like we got mostly a crosswind anyway, so I think it'll be all right. We don't have to worry about too much of a tailwind. Thoughts on the Lions-Chiefs game last night, Mr. Martini? Hey, man, brand new Lions, dude. The brand new Lions are at it again, or I shouldn't say again, are at it. I think they're for real this year. If you're a Lions fan, I think this might be the year where it's for real. Might be. I always pull for the Lions, man, because they've just been, the Lions fan base has just been so abused for years. Viva had to drop 1,100 on Frontier tickets to get home from the Dominican Republic. Tried for 2 days, but couldn't on-road back, but got to have dinner with Wrong Side and MCO. We had an overnight layover. Shaq, that's okay. Well, the fact that you had to drop 1,100, that's not awesome. But that's awesome. You got to have dinner with MCO, man. Dude, it's like, I keep thinking Wrong Side is just, he's a figment of my imagination because he keeps saying he's going to come fly with me, and he never does. And never says hi to me when I'm in Orlando. He just keeps ghosting me. Maybe it's me. Just messing. But that's awesome, Shaq. Oh, man, that's, ouch. Try to non-rev out of the DR. That's a tough one. But glad you made it back. Hopefully he treated you to dinner and some beverages. Lions fan base, Browns fan base, but I don't think anybody has it worse than Washington Commies fan base. You could throw it up there. You could throw that in the mix. You know, the Browns have been competitive, though, the last couple of years, honestly. I think the Browns have been pretty competitive. They haven't been great, but at least it's not like the Lions, where it's just the same old Lions. But I don't think the Chiefs got robbed water. I thought it was a fairly officiated game, minus a few calls that I think there was only like 3 of them that really stuck out to me, where I was like, I really don't feel like it's being favored one way or the other. But the 3 calls that I think were completely missed were in favor of the Chiefs. But at least they called that false start at the end of the game, where the dude's been jumping off sides or been false starting for the whole game. 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, they finally call it, which, I mean, NFL officials doing NFL official things. Let's just flying with lap kids on Frontier is a legit sardine can. Shaq, you should hop on Spirit sometime, man. I don't know what the difference is. I wonder, sure it's publicly. Who's got the tightest? It's got to be between Spirit or Frontier. The tightest seats. The seats between, like, how many seats? Inches between seats. I haven't been on Frontier in a long time. I think the last time I flew on Frontier, I was flying to Ohio to ferry a 172 out. Robbed, I tell you, robbed. Water. The only thing that robbed the Chiefs was that D lineman. What's his name? Okay, I want to say James Johnson because James Johnson's in the chat. That's not his name. The D lineman who's sitting up in there in the suites with, losing $1 million there, and he's at the game. And then Travis Kelce out. I think it's probably fair to say, had Travis Kelce played last night, the Chiefs would have won that game. Even if everything stayed the same, that last drive, Patrick Mahomes, 2 minutes left with the ball, Travis Kelce is going to get a target, period. So they're only down by 1. At the very least, it at least gives, they at least go up by 3, and then the Lions have to prove it by coming back and scoring. But no way in my mind, if Travis Kelce plays, does the score stay at, 21-20? Was that the final? Yeah, no way in my mind did the Chiefs only score 20 points with Travis Kelce. I think they get at least 3 points at the end there. Do y'all pack 265 on a 321 Neo? I didn't know to be sick or impressed. 265 on a 321? I don't even know. That sounds like a lot. I think our 321s are 228. 265? Shaq, that is a lot. Dude, 265, that's like 7.6. Or no, I guess that's like, I don't know. It wouldn't be 7.6. That's a wide body. But hell, US Airways 7.5s fit like 160 people because they had first class seats. I remember getting on the Airways 7.5s. Whenever I got to commute on an Airways 7.5, it was nice because it was, you had 160 seats in a 757, which you had some really nice leg room. But hell, I think an all economy 320 can fit 165. I think it's like 180. Isn't that crazy if you think about it? Do you like the world football soccer? No, I don't like soccer, man. James Johnson. Here, look, it's not that I don't like it. It's just, I think if you played soccer, you probably will enjoy it more. And I think it goes to whatever sport you play. Like I played football growing up, pretty much until I went to college. And then, because of that, I understand more about football than I think someone who doesn't play football unless they actively study the sport. And I think the same would be true for soccer. Like if I played soccer, because I think there are still plays and stuff in soccer. Like when I look at soccer on TV, I'm just watching some dudes running around, kicking a ball. That's all I'm watching. But I know it's more than that. But because I don't know, I don't have an interest in it. And it's, it's a cultural thing too. In America, football is America's game. If you grew up in the United States, it's football. And I know the rest of the world is different, of course. But that's one thing I never understood. Is like, why do they call the Super Bowl World Champions if there's no other teams, right? Like, I feel like that's kind of weird because I feel like there'd be some hardcore, you've got, you probably have some Aussies some pretty yoked Aussies that would have a challenging team to beat. I don't know. I always found it weird when they say world champions. I'm like, how about like United States champions? Marlano, I played outside linebacker and defensive end. That's what I played. I did some a little bit of tight end stuff, but once I got into high school, that pretty much was the defensive side of the ball. Because America, the world, who else landed on the moon? Watch some Gaelic football or hurling Irish sports. Oh yeah, some Irish lads. Aaron will be out there. Look at this wing view right now, though. How far out are we now? Okay, we can still look at it. Look at this view. That is awesome. I mean, I bet there's some sharks. There's some sharks down there in the water. Gotta be a lot of sharks down there. But man, who doesn't love a little Fokkering in Australia? My favorite team, so by default, I have to be a Cowboys fan, right? But my most passionate team, I'm passionate about both, but I'm actually a Jets fan because when I was little, my dad said I can pick any team. I didn't want to pick the Cowboys because they were always disappointing. My dad's like, you can pick any team you want. You just got to stick with them. And me, being a young little boy, my favorite color is green, and I liked airplanes. And I think the Jets were on TV. So naturally, so I'm going to be a Jets fan. And then after that, it's been not good. It's been a long, hard road being a Jets fan. But this year, this is the year. This is the year. I'm telling you. How do you control the Airbus if all hydraulic systems fail, Santiago? So the RAT, or ram air turbine, will deploy, and you can power it through blue hydraulic electrical power, or blue hydraulic emergency power. But the common misconception is if you don't have any hydraulics, you can still fly. No, if you lost all 3 hydraulic systems, like they drained out of the airplane, no green, no yellow, and no blue, you're not flying. You're a brick. You cannot move the flight control surfaces. So you have to have at least one system with hydraulic fluid that can be pressurized. You don't have to be a Cowboys fan. Bosco, I have to be, man. Has to be. From Texas, dude. I used to play cornerback when I played, but I was mostly a center fielder playing baseball growing up. Nice. Same with MLB World Series. Can you call them world champions if it's just U.S. and Canada? At least you got Canada in the mix, Bosco, but I agree with you. More sharks than you can poke a stick at. How about that Troy Aikman, eh? Yeah, no fluid, you fucked, as AJ said. No fluid in the Airbus. You are fucked. All right, we're about 74 miles out. That's right, about 75. So we need to just go ahead and start down. I'm going to go ahead and scroll in here. 10 thou. We're going to see how close we were here on our descent. I'm going to dial in 10,000 feet. We're going to bump up the IS right about there. And we're going to go IS hold, and we're going to bring power back. Nice and slow. Nice and easy. Don't be a throttle jockey, especially with these older engines. Power is coming back. Sounds are coming up. We're on the descent, 77 miles out. Down we go. Let's go ahead and turn the seatbelt sign on. And the no smoking sign because I flipped the wrong switch. Let's get an updated weather. Refresh you. Right now, YPAD, destination, METAR, refresh. Oh, I guess I didn't need to do that. METAR at the destination. Winds are 080 degrees at 5 knots, 10 miles, unrestricted visibility. Looks like temperature 11C, 51 degrees. Ooh, hey, do they have geographic inverted? Do they have pumpkin spice lattes in Australia? And this is going to sound like a really dumb American question. They have Starbucks in Australia, right? Like, surely there's a Starbucks in Australia. I know they have McDonald's. In fact, I think I've been to an Australian McDonald's in Sydney. But do they have a Starbucks there? And if they don't have Starbucks, because I've trailed away from Starbucks, I much prefer this local coffee shop that's right next to me here at the office. They're awesome coffee. And Starbucks is just It's super expensive, number one, and there's just too much stuff in it now. Like you don't really hardly get any coffee. I feel like it's all these sugars and juices of stuff, and ice, and then they throw a little splash of coffee in there. They call them McDonald's maccas. Really? Apparently the coffee is great, Nosy. That's awesome. There's a Starbucks on every street corner in most of the world. That's what I kind of figured. I kind of figured that. Go Buffs, beat the corn. Yeah. Hey, Tyson, I'm all in on Dion, too. I really hope hope Colorado does well, dude. I'm all in on Dion. I think he's a good dude, good coach. Starbucks is overpriced nonsense living off hype. I don't disagree with that at all, Ollie. I don't disagree with that at all. Yes, they do have Starbucks in Australia. Caribou greater than Starbucks, agreed. But I also think Caribou is also kind of gotten towards the commercialization side. Okay, check this out. You hear that gear horn? Check this out. This is the best part of the newest update. Just Flight 10 for 10. I bound it to my little button here on my throttle. Oh, now you can actually bring the power back. And while you're hand flying down low, that can be a big deal because you have to like come down here, click this. So make sure you bind that button. Again, if you want to know how to bind the the horn silencer button, you have to bind toggle GPWS. That is the binding in MSFS. I'll just post it here because it is that important that you need to see it. I posted it in the chat there. Toggle GPWS is the control assignment you need to bind. I'm having a hard time speaking today, to control that undercarriage sound. We're going to do a straight up visual approach, but let's throw in, let's just see what runway we're going to land on. Winds are 080, turned up V pilot. With winds 080, we're going to land on, how about we land on 5, shall we? Let's land on 5, we'll make a left turn off. So we'll go to arrival and approaches. Do they have a VOR or something we can do that's not super lame? Oh, look at this. Beautiful. VOR 5. Let's join the arc at Lunga. Lunga's at 12.5 DME arc at 3,000. 12.5 at 3,000. We can do it. We need to go ahead and keep coming down a little bit. We're going to set 10. And we're going to do an arc to the VOR runway at 5. Lunga's off to 192 inbound. So 192 inbound is going to be what outbound? That's going to be 362. Only Chuck Norris. Wait, no, 372. Yeah, definitely. Chuck Norris he's the only one that can fly 372. So that's actually going to be 012, right?
Adelaide traffic ends at 1175, about 30 miles to the east of the field, descending through 10,000. Will be a right base entry, visual approach 05 Adelaide.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and select heading mode. Heading mode selected. I want to flip my course around to 192 inbound, which is a 014. What did I say? 192 outbound, so that's 372, so that's 12. It's a 12 inbound, right?
Adelaide traffic, kitchen 219, joined an extended left downwind, runway 05, visual, full stop, Adelaide.
That guy sounds exactly like my, oh, sorry, I didn't realize we had the cam on. My bad. That guy sounds exactly like my buddy Ben. Actually, we'll be able to arc. You know what? Let's just join. Yeah, let's just arc 2. We won't go to Lunga. We'll just join a 12 DME arc. So we're going to go here. Beam mode is on. Hey there. Easy there. Just flight on the capture. All right, 13 for 10. We're going to join this inbound course here, which is 320. And then we're going to arc to the west at 12.5 DME. And we got to get down to 3,000. So as soon as we hit 10, we're going to decel, and then we're going to set 3, and we're going to continue on. It's going to be good. Does weather radar work? I don't believe so. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe it works. Or, I don't know. I don't think it does. Because Microsoft hasn't really released the weather API. So there's some like hacked weather radars that depict a like a radar image. I don't know if it works. I'd be able to recognize V1 in public just by his arms. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's the problem with yoke cam. It's in my way. I got to figure out
Adelaide traffic,
Like,
219,
I don't even know if I like it, because I'm up here like changing views.
down to
I don't know.
10,000.
It's always in my way, because I always have to come up here and do this. Weather radar does kind of work, but default, which is not very useful. Okay, Napalm. So it's better than nothing, so you will get some radar return. You will get some radar return. Adelaide traffic, Ansett 991. We're out of 10.3, going to descend to 3,000. We're going to join a 12 DME arc for the runway 5 approach, Adelaide. All right, there's 10,000 feet. We're going to keep on coming back to about 250 K knots, which is right about there. Now let's go ahead and get the power back in. Dougal, I hear you, man. As soon as I put this yoke back on my desk, the first thing I said was, wow, this is uncomfortable. Like, I am such a spoiled Airbus driver, man. Having a yoke in front, which is weird because until I got in the Airbus, a yoke never bothered me. I was like, yeah, it's just part of flying. It's just how it was. Now it's a pain. All right, we're about 250. We're a little bit slow, but we're going to dial in 3,000. We're going to keep coming on down here. We're going to trickle on down a little bit more. Make a nice, I want a shallow descent. All right, let's run a descent approach checklist here while we're at it. Shoulder harness secured, air conditioning pressurization is set. I didn't reset it. It's fine. Altimeters and bugs set and cross-checked. Oh, yeah, we're at 10,000. Master barrel ref 3042. That'll make a difference. Jeez. That is set. Cross-checked. IAS bugs. So because we have the flip chart options enabled, we can just click on our flap. We're going to do landing flap 42 for cinematic purposes, which is 119 on the bug. TTT switches to the takeoff position. Done. Now, if I could only bind those, that would be awesome. All right, 10.3 descending to 3,000. Power's coming back. Descent approach checklist is complete. 12 DME arc. We're going to arc to the west. So basically, we're going to twist 10, turn 10. The inbound course is 035. So let me set 035 up on nav 2. Now, this would be much easier if I had two working nav radios, but now my bindings are of which I can't even scroll either one. So it's a binding issue. It's not a just flight issue. 035 approach course. And just to remind myself, we're 20.2. Why aren't we descending though? Because I didn't do IIS hold. Nice. And now we are. There we go.
Adelaide traffic, QJ219, standing left base, runway 05, full stop Adelaide.
I think transition altitude is, someone said it was 10. There's no spoiled Airbus driver, there are yoke pilots in denial. Gustavo, good to see you, man. Very true. Very true. Full flaps, go home day? Yeah, or I'm landing in Minneapolis on 30 right. I want to exit right there at the donut shop. And AJ, yes, I did bring the donuts home. So, I have proof. We loaded up though, I got a box. The guy behind the counter was like, how many donuts you want? Well, how about 6? How about 12? Transition altitude in AU is 10,000. Okay, there you go, thank you. So we're out of 10, we're transition altitude is set. We got those on. Let's go ahead and get the rest of our lights on so I don't have to do it when we're on approach. And I roll it into the dirt. So that's going on. Everything else looks good there. All right, 14.8. At 13.5, I'm going to twist 90 degrees to my intercept. So it looks like it's going to be a heading of about 230 here. This is how we fly an arc. I'm going to do it at about a mile prior at 200 knots.
Adelaide traffic, QJ219, standing final, runway 05, full stop Adelaide.
Adelaide traffic, Ansett 91, joining the 12 DME arc for runway 5, Adelaide. All right, heading mode selected. We're coming all the way over, about 230
Adelaide
on the
traffic,
heading.
velocity 211, running final, 8 mile final for runway 05.
321, so we're going to make it 33.
Adelaide traffic, Ansett 1175,
Make it
about
333.
8 mile right base following velocity 211, Adelaide.
You can see here we got inside of our DMA. So I'm thinking Cessna 172 speeds. 200 knots. We probably should have started that turnout on the arc right about 14 miles. So now because we're outside of the arc a little bit, I'm actually going to fly away from the VOR here so we can try to get back to that 12.5. Here comes our CDI at 333 inbound. Our inbound to our final course is 035. So we got a little ways to go. So I'm actually going to go ahead and dial in 343 now, 10 more. Let's make it easy math. Let's make it 345. I'm at 11.8, so I'm looking at my mileage here. I kind of want to bring this out to about 12.5 is what the published arc is. So we're flying away. This is where it's really nice to have a wind readout. Like if you're in a G1000, you're basically cheating. All right, recording is ready to go. There's 12 miles. Key 6, good to see you, man. He says, I traded with a flight attendant once some Krispy Kremes for a free few bottles of booze. Hey, that's awesome, Key 6. 24 months, 2 years, that's a member. Key 6, appreciate the support, my friend. If you ever fly with me, I will definitely trade, I'll trade a couple of cockpit picks for some Krispy Kremes, no doubt. All right, that's close enough to 12.5. Let's go ahead and turn 10. Let's go ahead and reset here. About 355 now on the course. About 270. 12.5. We still need to get down to 3,000. Let's get a little spoiler action. Let's get a little F28 cam up. And that lift dumper is serious. That thing just rocked it down. All right, let's go 005. Still trickling down here.
Adelaide traffic, Kit 219 vacated runway 23 will be taxiing to McDade. Echo 2 crossing runway 12, Echo 1 Alpha 6 and Bravo. Adelaide.
DME arcs with an HSI is considered cheating. Where's your fixed CDI? That is true. I don't even remember how to do it on a fixed CDI. That's the true twist 10, turn 10. All right, let's add another 10 here. Let's make it 015. 12.4. So we're within tolerance there. We're about 0.1 off. Yeah, the standard CDI. Well, we could have done it with. Yeah, we don't have a proper CDI, huh? There's the altitude alert. 1,000 feet to level off. Inbound course, what'd we say? 035. And that's final approach fixed altitude is 3,000, which we are just about to level in 500 feet, so we're looking good. We are looking good. Let's go ahead and dial her out. 025 now. So we are passing about that CF05. At 205, we could start our inbound turn. So right about now, we could start to intercept. So I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and set 035.
Adelaide traffic velocity.
And let's start that inbound turn.
05 on 30, taxi is now.
Adelaide traffic, Ansett 1175, 1 mile final, 05, Adelaide.
Adelaide traffic, Ansett 91. We're just outside of the final approach fix for runway 5 on the VOR. Adelaide. Flaps 11, here it comes.
Yeah.
All right, turn it on inbound. Loke. I'm gonna go ahead and rebug my speeds here. Landing 119. Speeds are bugged. We're coming around. Let's go ahead and arm the lift dumpers. MBA 450 feet. Bug 500. How long is this segment? 5 miles.
Today, traffic 119 knots, passing 9,600 feet, 40,000, expecting to be
We're getting ready to, we're ready to hand fly the whole thing.
Adelaide traffic at 1175 is clear of the runway. We'll taxi
8 miles out, 180 knots, flap 6, we're looking good. Auto trim cheating jail. Adelaide, oh, there's the runway. Let's go ahead and click it off. Autopilot's off. Flight director's off. Down we go. Gear down. Let's go ahead and slow down. Adelaide traffic, Ansett 91, about 7 mile final on runway 5. Adelaide. Speed brake is out. Gear's coming down. Five miles, be about 1,500 feet. See if we can catch up here.
Flaps 25.
Of course.
Flaps 42.
Oh, you gotta pay attention to what I'm doing
Speed.
here. Trying to get in some
Speed.
flap sounds. Yeah, I know speed.
Speed.
Correcting.
Speed.
Alright, landing check. No smoking's on. Lift dumpers are armed. Runways in sight. Anti-skid check. Flaps 42 check. Landing checklist is complete. Recording is on. I don't think I'm very good at landing this 3000 variant for some reason, so we're going to try our best here. I feel a little out of trim here. I'm trying to reset everything. There's our 2 whites, 2 reds. Gosh, I love it. Speed. Adelaide traffic Ansett 91 short final, runway 5, Adelaide. Landing. I suck at landing this airplane. Oh no, it's gonna be firm. Oh. Gosh. I got nervous. We started doing the porpoisey porpoise there. I like the way the 4000 flies. It's my personal opinion. This one is too, like, I need more practice with it. 342. You know why that is? We landed at like 10 knots below ref. But I didn't want to do any tail striking. 342. Flaring it, I know, and that's my other problem. I start flaring at 50 feet. Doesn't help.
Traffic 119 running the 12 p.m. here. Arc. Runway 5.
Ooh, a Qantas flight is joining the arc. Very nice. Adelaide traffic, inset 91 will clear of runway 5, taxi terminal, Adelaide. We are here. Alright, let's go this. Let's get straight on the taxiway and then let's do a flap retraction. Yeah, flaring at 50 feet is not recommended, and then you get slow, man. That whole lift dumper thing, it's so bizarre to me, because you go lift dumper, and then you got to add power to stay stabilized. Retract those. It's just so weird. I'm not used to it. I love that clunk at the end there. Long landing. Long landing. Mickey G, you called it. How is your butter landing ratio in real life? Hell of a lot better than it is in the sim, that's for sure. Although, what did we do yesterday? We buttered, right? Or the day before, we had like a 92 in LaGuardia? I'll take that. There's a little Citation jet over there. Did I park next to him? Nah. Citation mid. Let's go park next to this Fokker over here. Tyson, take it easy, man. Go Buffs. Before you flared, ground effect in the flight model kicked in and reduced your rod, then you flared. Rip. Yeah, I definitely need practice on the 3. I like the 4. I think it's much more docile. That guy's doing some hover checks or something, so we'll park next to him. This one over here, Adelaide Airport. Although I don't feel like I'm not sure where the parking is here. I guess we'll go to this one. Another leg. No, we're good, man. I got 3 o'clock. Got some more chicken coop painting to do. You can see your landing, David, you can see him in real life. I just did it on my last flight. Oh, I love that sound set, though.
Maybe that's the 119, my final number is
Ooh, a little long on the ERP there. A little long. All right, brakes are set. Regular cams are coming off. And we're going to go into replay mode. But I don't want to shut down yet. Anybody out there on final? Because the sound set is so good. I don't know if there's any other Fokkers coming in here. I kind of want to see. Let's zoom out there real quick here. There is a... What is that? What a 737 on the VOR? We'll see this guy's landing here. He's on the VOR. It's offset a little bit. You're safe for another leg. Miss V1 hasn't entered the chat. It's because she's probably waiting for me. It's like, we need to do the coop. Trust me, after the work we put into the chicken coop, man, I gotta be there to paint it. Can't have the painting get out of hand here. Oh, I could probably stop the recording. Yeah, throttle hold. I can't wait to see. I want to see this replay here as we cross the beach. It's gonna be nice. We'll see the 7-3 land. Here he comes. He looks like he's straightened out. How's Atlanta greeting you? It's aight, James. It's aight. Weather's nice. Weather's nice. We have chickens. Yeah, we went down the whole chicken thing. We are amateur chicken farmers. Oh, wow. Dude just stalled it. Oh. Well, it definitely didn't float it out. Looked like he stalled it there for a minute. We don't have any sounds on that. Ooh, tail strike. Tail strike, holding the nose up. Must be in P3D. Looks like a P3D flight model. All right, let's watch our replay and get out of here. Replay mode is on. Gears coming down. David Go, welcome back to Private Pilot, sir. Glad to have you back on board. You get the co-pilot to take photo of the feet per minute tape upon touchdown. No, it's just the in the Airbus you could print out G-load and your sync rate like a second prior, and then at the event. So you just do a little math, calculator math. I think the last one I did was a 160, which wasn't my best, but I calculated one a couple weeks ago. It was like we had a 77, which was pretty good. But yeah, my first trip back from training after no flying in 6 weeks, I had a 160 feet per minute. I made a bet with the FO and still won, so that's all that matters, right? How many chickens we talking about? Romulus, right now we're at 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. We had 15, but we lost 3. We're at 12 right now. Crossing the beach. Man, look at some of those houses down there. See how we did here on the touchdown.
Traffic, Julie 1049, on final.
Float it, float it. Oh, I never disconnected from that. It's in, rip. Oh. Hey, we were right on center line, but that just felt like, what was it, a 300? That felt like a 300. Let's go ahead and resume. This, go ahead and get those. And now our lift dumpers are out. That's right. Yeah, those lift dumpers are straight boards. Douglas Phillips, welcome. We're just finishing up now. We took off from Melbourne. We're in Adelaide. All right, so started to flare early like an Airbus pilot, then started to float, then we got below VREF, and then we almost had a nice touchdown. Now we're Bob Hoover in it. Oh, I don't know if that was a full 300. 10 for 10 on centerline control. I don't know if that was a full 300. I don't know about that. Go ahead and go lift dumper in. Can't, there we go. Alright, well, 342, meh. I guess we're not going to argue with it. Didn't see, I guess it would because we were pretty slow on that approach. But the beaches, though, how, like this house, all these houses and stuff here, it kind of reminds me of coming into LA if you come from the ocean side, come from the west, which is pretty rare, but nice houses right on the water. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Man, the internet has been a little bit choppy today, too. I apologize for that. Dougal, love and hugs. The family appreciate you, man. You take care of yourself. Everybody else, McShiggity, good to see you, man. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Late checking in, but we are checking out, my friend. We're checking out right now as we come over the beaches in Adelaide. We'll probably be back in the Fokker this later on, the next stream. I don't know when the next stream is going to be. I don't think it'll be tomorrow. Well, it's definitely not going to be Sunday because we got football to watch, pork shoulders to cook. This looks like a little marina over here, some sailboats. Nice. But, all right, I'll let y'all watch a replay here, too. We're going to get out of here. Thanks for the ride. Greg, you're welcome. It's been a fun one. I hope you guys enjoy seeing some F28 ops. Maybe I can find a 4000. I feel like I can fly the 4000 better than the 3000. I'll have to see what kind of liveries are out there. Until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. I'm D1. Soup.